It's Mac time on the MacCast. I'm Master Mac.
And I'm Putt Parker. Thank you for joining us.
On this episode, we decided to answer the question, why poly?
First thing you should know that polyamory isn't for everyone, but we're hoping by sharing our story that you might be able to find out if polyamory is right for you. So let's get started. First, let's define what polyamory actually is. Polyamory is defined by Merriam-Webster as the state or practice of having more than one open romantic relationship at a time. Sounds easy, right? Polyamory at its essence is really about love. It shouldn't be confused with an open relationship, which is more about having sex with more than one person. On the other hand, polyamory is more about having a relationship with more than one person. Poly can be as simple as dating more than one person or multiple people, or it can be as complex as our relationship, which is a four-way, full-time relationship. Now a little bit about why I chose polyamory. I chose polyamory after two failed monogamous relationships, my first of which was 6 years, and it was a closed relationship, so we didn't have sex outside of the two partners. Unbeknownst to me, after about 3 years, my partner at the time was cheating on me, and I didn't find out until many years later. We broke up when I was 28, and at that point I had been exposed to many gay relationships and realized that monogamy wasn't necessarily for all people. I was raised Mormon, so I didn't necessarily have the evangelical view of monogamy that a lot of people have in the United States. And as I started to explore different types of relationships, I realized that having multiple partners was a great way for me, at least, to have a relationship that would be successful. Over the years, I had a couple more polyamorous relationships and at least one more monogamous relationship. But the polyamorous relationships I had at the time were more of an open relationship. So I didn't really have the love that I wanted in those relationships. And so as I tried to progress more in my experience, I realized that the love was the part that I was missing and it was making me feel empty inside. So when I got into this relationship, the love was actually the part that I had been missing and was really, for me, the first true polyamorous relationship that I was in.
And when I think about what brought me to polyamory, it really comes down to one core concept. And that concept is honesty. I wanted to be honest with myself first and foremost. Because as I was discovering kink, I realized that there were things about sexuality that society put on me that I had to shake off. They really weren't making me feel fulfilled within my life, and they were dragging me down in terms of my self-esteem. So I wanted to shake that off and get rid of that. And secondly, I wanted to be honest with my partners. I had a history of monogamous relationships where I was successfully monogamous. I didn't cheat. Obviously, those relationships didn't last, but it wasn't because of that. But towards the end, I realized that as I was discovering those sexual things I mentioned, I was finding myself in a situation where I wasn't quite as able to be honest with my partners. And I didn't want that. I wanted honesty from the beginning. So I moved on from that knowing that I needed to seek a polyamorous relationship from the start where the people involved would understand what it was we were doing from the beginning. And in fact, when I met Parker, we were both in that same place of wanting the same type of polyamorous relationship, which we were able to discover because we talked about it pretty extensively at the beginning. And I feel that's one of the key reasons we were able to build this situation up to the place where it is now, which I think is successful for us. So that was why I chose poly. I really just wanted to be honest with myself, honest with my partners, so that when I was out there doing the thing that polyamorous people do, loving and sexing and all of those things, I didn't have to feel bad about it. It was something that was done within the context of a consensual relationship, and that's what I looked for. So now that we've given you a look into the reasons why we chose poly for ourselves, why don't you go ahead and leave your comments and questions down below, or hit us up at MacCast Media on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook.
If you're interested in learning more about polyamory, we put some links below to some good resources. One good book is The Ethical Slut, and we put a link to that below as well. If you like this content, want to see more about polyamory, hit the like button and the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching our first episode. Bye for now. First of all, you might want to... The love I feel is amazing. If you're interested in reading more about polyamory... If you're interested...